The grand hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with activity. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved about, some floating, others walking on multiple legs. In the center of the circular chamber stood a large holographic display showing star charts and ancient text. "This meeting will now begin," announced Counselor Vex, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. "Today we discuss the so-called human question once again." Many counselors groaned. This topic had come up many times over the centuries. "Must we waste time on children's stories?" asked a reptilian delegate, scales shimmering under the bright lights. Counselor Vex raised one of his hands. "Dr. Trill has new evidence to present." A small green alien with large eyes stepped forward. She wore the silver uniform of the Science Academy. "Thank you, Counselor. For 300 years we have debated whether humans ever truly existed. The ancient texts speak of them, but many believe they are just myths created to frighten young ones." She pressed a button on her wrist device. The hologram changed to show what looked like a primitive spacecraft. This vessel was discovered in the ruins of what we believe was once a human outpost. "Its technology is unlike anything we have seen before," the reptilian counselor hissed. "If these humans were so advanced, why did they disappear? Why have we never encountered them in our exploration of the galaxy?" Dr. Trill nodded. "A fair question. The texts suggest a great disaster befell them. Some believe they destroyed themselves in war. Others think they fell victim to a plague. What matters is understanding what they were capable of." She changed the hologram again. It now showed biological readings. The texts describe humans as remarkably adaptable. They could live in environments from freezing to scorching. They could eat almost anything. Their bodies could repair damage that would kill most species. Most incredibly, they could keep fighting even when severely injured. A bird-like counselor fluttered her wings. "Surely such claims are exaggerations. No species could be so resilient." "Perhaps," admitted Dr. Trill. "But what if even half of it is true? What if humans still exist somewhere in unexplored space? Should we not prepare for that possibility?" The chamber filled with dismissive laughter. "Enough of this nonsense," said the reptilian. "Humans are myths, nothing more." Far away from the Galactic Council, in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, the research ship Horizon orbited a small moon. The ship was sleek and silver, bearing the emblem of the Science Academy. Inside the main laboratory, Dr. Eliza Morgan studied a piece of metal under a microscope. She was so focused that she didn't notice Commander Alan Frost enter the room. "Any progress?" he asked, making her jump. Eliza pushed her brown hair from her face and smiled. "Yes, actually. This metal fragment has writing on it. It matches what we believe to be human language." Alan crossed his arms. He was tall with short black hair and always looked serious. "The council won't be convinced by a piece of metal with scratches on it." "These aren't just scratches," Eliza insisted. "And there's more. Come with me." She led him to a larger room where a team worked on mapping the ruins they had discovered on the moon's surface. A 3D model showed what appeared to be the remains of a small settlement. "Look at the layout," Eliza said, pointing to various structures. "Living quarters designed for bipedal beings about our size. Tools that would fit in hands with 5 fingers. Everything matches the descriptions from the ancient texts." Alan studied the model. Despite his skepticism, he had to admit the evidence was compelling. "What do you hope to find here?" "Proof," Eliza said simply. "Proof that humans weren't just legends. The Council dismisses them as myths because they're afraid. The texts describe humans as fierce warriors when threatened, but also capable of great compassion and creativity." Alan shook his head. "If they were so great, what happened to them?" Before Eliza could answer, a young scientist rushed into the room. "Dr. Morgan, we found something." His voice trembled with excitement. They followed him to an excavation site, where a team had uncovered an underground chamber. Inside was a perfectly preserved room with strange devices lining the walls. "It's some kind of communication center," explained the young scientist, "and it's still drawing power from somewhere." Eliza approached one of the devices. It had a flat screen and buttons with symbols. Her heart raced as she recognized some of the symbols from her research. "Can we turn it on?" she asked. The science team worked carefully, connecting their equipment to the ancient device. After several tense minutes, the screen flickered to life, displaying strange symbols. "It's asking for a password," said a technician. Eliza thought for a moment, then typed a sequence of symbols based on her research of human language. The screen changed, showing a map of stars. "It's a navigation system," she whispered in awe. "These are coordinates." Alan leaned closer. "Coordinates to what?" "I don't know yet, but this proves humans weren't just myths. They were here, and they left this for someone to find." In another part of the galaxy, far beyond the reach of the Galactic Council, a massive ship drifted through space. Unlike the sleek vessels of the Council races, this ship was bulky and practical, built for survival rather than beauty. On the bridge, Captain George Riley looked out at the stars. He was in his 50s with graying hair and a weathered face. Behind him, officers worked at various stations monitoring the ship's systems. "Status report," George said. His first officer, Lisa Patel, approached with a tablet. "All systems normal, Captain. The colonists are healthy. Farm levels report good harvest this cycle." George nodded. The colony ship Defiance had been their home for generations. It was one of the few remaining vessels carrying the last of humanity after the evacuation of Earth centuries ago. "Any word from the other colony ships?" he asked. Lisa shook her head. "No, sir. Same as always." George sighed. There were supposed to be 12 ships, each carrying tens of thousands of humans to different parts of space. But they had lost contact with the others long ago. For all they knew, the Defiance carried the last humans in existence. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. A young officer called out, "Captain, we're receiving a signal." George turned sharply. "From where?" "Unknown, sir. It's not one of our emergency frequencies, but it's definitely a human signal pattern." The bridge fell silent. After generations of silence, could there really be other humans out there? "Put it through," George ordered. Static filled the air, then cleared to reveal a voice. The words were distorted, but unmistakably human. "Anyone receiving Earth coordinates found. Us. Come home." George gripped the back of a chair to steady himself. "Earth? Did they say Earth?" The officer nodded, eyes wide. "Yes, sir, but that's impossible. Earth was destroyed." "Apparently not," George said, his mind racing. "Track that signal. Whatever it is, wherever it came from, we need to find it." The Defiance changed course to follow the mysterious signal. None of its crew realized they were about to change the course of galactic history. The myths were real, humans were returning, and the galaxy was not ready. The Zalari battlecruiser Conquest moved slowly through the asteroid field. Its purple hull gleamed against the darkness of space. On the bridge, Commander Zeth watched the main screen with his 4 eyes narrowed in concentration. "Report," he ordered, his skin changing from blue to green with excitement. "Scanners have detected an unknown vessel, Commander," replied his second-in-command. "Small size, primitive design, no apparent weapons." Zeth smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Excellent. The mining rights to this sector will belong to the Zalari Empire once we claim this territory. Capture that ship. I want to know who dares enter our new territory." The Conquest changed course, followed by 2 smaller Zalari ships. They approached what appeared to be a simple transport vessel with smooth lines and minimal external features. On board the human ship Artemis, alarms blared loudly. Samantha Wright rushed onto the bridge, still fastening her uniform jacket. As the diplomatic officer, she had been preparing for possible first contact scenarios. But not this soon. "Status. Report," she called to the bridge crew. "3 unknown vessels approaching," answered the pilot. "They're not responding to our greeting messages." Samantha frowned. The Artemis was supposed to be on a simple scouting mission, not a first contact situation. Captain Riley of the Defiance had sent them to investigate the strange signal, not to engage with alien species. "Keep broadcasting on all frequencies," she ordered. "Make it clear we come in peace." The ship's security chief, Daniel Peterson, entered the bridge. He was tall, with broad shoulders and a serious expression. "They're powering weapons," he reported, "and deploying some kind of capture beam." Samantha felt her heart sink. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. "Evasive maneuvers," she ordered, "but do not return fire. I repeat, do not return fire." The Artemis moved swiftly, dodging the purple beams fired by the Zalari ships. Despite its simple appearance, the human vessel moved with surprising speed and agility. Inside the Zalari command ship, Commander Zeth slammed his fist against his chair. "How is that primitive ship evading us? Deploy the magnetic net." The largest Zalari ship launched a glowing web of energy that expanded as it flew toward the human vessel. The Artemis twisted and turned but couldn't escape. The net wrapped around it, disrupting its engines. "We've been caught," the pilot of the Artemis reported. "Engines are failing." Daniel stepped forward. "We need to defend ourselves, Samantha. These aren't friendly visitors." Samantha hesitated. Their mission was peaceful exploration, but they couldn't allow themselves to be captured by unknown hostiles. "What are our options?" "The Artemis isn't built for combat," said Daniel. "But it has defenses. We can use the mining lasers and disable their ships without destroying them." Samantha nodded reluctantly. "Do it. Minimal force only." Daniel took control of the weapon system. With careful precision, he targeted the engines of the smallest Zalari ship. The laser cut through space, hitting its target perfectly. The Zalari ship spun out of control, its engines disabled. Commander Zeth couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Impossible, that ship has no weapons." "Sir, they've disabled the Swift Hunter," reported an officer. "But our scans still show no conventional weapons on their vessel." Zeth's skin darkened with rage. "Fire all weapons! Destroy them!" The two remaining Zalari ships launched a barrage of energy blasts at the Artemis. Most missed as the human ship, now free from the disabled net, moved with incredible speed. On the Artemis, systems were failing as the ship absorbed hit after hit. "Shields at 30%, reported an officer. Daniel worked quickly, targeting the weapon systems of the second Zalari ship. With 3 precise laser bursts, he disabled their weapons. The Zalari ship drifted, powerless. "One more," Daniel said, sweat dripping down his face. Samantha watched as the main Zalari ship continued firing. "Can we communicate with them? Make them understand we don't want to fight?" "I've been trying all frequencies," replied the communications officer. "They're not responding." Daniel targeted the engines of the command ship. The Artemis shuddered as it took another hit, but held steady long enough for Daniel to fire. The laser struck the Zalari command ship, cutting through its engine section. "Commander." Zeth held onto his chair as his ship shook violently. "Engine core damaged, weapons offline," shouted an officer. "How? How did they do this?" Zeth demanded. "That ship should have been destroyed by our first volley." On the Artemis, the crew cheered as the Zalari command ship stopped firing. All 3 alien vessels now drifted powerless in space. "Open a channel," Samantha ordered. The screen flickered to life, showing Commander Zeth's angry face. Samantha stepped forward. "I am Diplomatic Officer Samantha Wright of the Earth vessel Artemis. We mean you no harm. We disabled your ships to prevent you from destroying us, but we have no intention of killing your crews. Do you require assistance? With repairs?" Zeth's 4 eyes blinked in shock. "Earth? You claim to be from Earth?" Samantha nodded. "Yes, we are humans from Earth." The Zalari commander's skin paled. "Humans are myths, stories to frighten children." "I assure you we are very real," Samantha replied, "and we would prefer peace between our peoples." News of the encounter spread quickly through Zalari space, then to the broader Galactic Council. Most dismissed it as exaggeration or outright lies. But Admiral Kresh of the Council Defense Force was troubled as he reviewed the reports. "The tactics match exactly," he told his aide as they walked through the Council Defense headquarters. "The ancient texts describe humans using minimal force to disable rather than destroy enemies. They describe human ships moving with unusual agility despite simple designs. Surely you don't believe humans actually exist, Admiral? Asked the aide. Admiral Kresh stopped walking and turned to face the younger officer. 20 years ago, I found ruins similar to those Dr. Morgan is studying now. I kept my findings secret because I feared the panic it would cause. He lowered his voice. If humans have returned, everything will change. Back on the Defiance, Captain Riley listened to Samantha's report with growing concern. So our first contact with alien life resulted in a battle, he said grimly. We defended ourselves without taking lives, Samantha pointed out. But yes, it wasn't the peaceful exchange we hoped for. George sighed heavily. What about the signal? Did you find its source? Not yet, replied Daniel. But we have a direction, and Captain, these aliens recognized the word Earth. They knew what humans were, even though they thought we were myths. George looked out at the stars visible through the ship's viewport. Then Earth wasn't destroyed. Somewhere out there is our home world, and we're going to find it. The Grand Council chamber was unusually silent as Ambassador Zox entered. The tall, purple-skinned diplomat moved with careful steps toward the center platform. All eyes followed him. After the reports of a supposed human ship, the Council had sent Zox and a team to investigate. Ambassador Zox, you may present your findings, said Counselor Vex, leaning forward with obvious interest. Zox cleared his throat. Counselors, I come with news that will change our understanding of the galaxy. He paused, looking around the room. Humans are real. They exist. The chamber erupted in shouts and exclamations. Some counselors stood up in anger, others in shock. Vex banged a gavel until order returned. Explain yourself, Ambassador, Vex demanded. Zox activated a holographic display. It showed images of strange ships and settlements spread across several star systems. My team followed the coordinates from the Zolari encounter. What we found was shocking. Not just one human ship, but millions of humans spread across 12 colony worlds. Dr. Trill stepped forward, her green skin pale with excitement. How have they remained hidden all this time? They created a network of spatial distortion fields, Zox explained. Unless you knew exactly where to look, sensors would simply skip over their territory. Most impressive technology. The reptilian counselor hissed, Are they hostile? The texts speak of their warrior nature. They were cautious but not aggressive, Zox replied. They allowed our ship to approach once we sent peaceful signals. They call their main colony world New Hope. Their leader agreed to meet with me. More images appeared, showing human settlements. The buildings were simple but efficient. Gardens and farms surrounded the colonies. Then a picture of a human female appeared. This is leader Olivia Martinez, said Zox. She explained that humans fled Earth centuries ago after a warning from an advanced race. They believed Earth was about to be destroyed by a cosmic event. Dr. Trill studied the image with fascination. They look so ordinary. Yet the ancient texts describe them as nearly indestructible in battle. They don't appear remarkable, Zox agreed. But I witnessed something extraordinary. While I was there, a mining accident occurred. A human was crushed under fallen rocks that would have killed any of us instantly. Yet he survived. His bones began healing within days. Their medical officer said it was normal for humans. The chamber fell quiet as the counselors absorbed this information. What are their intentions? Asked Vex finally. They wish to establish peaceful relations, Zox replied. But they also seek information about Earth. They believe it may still exist somewhere. On New Hope, the largest human colony, Olivia Martinez stood at the window of the government building. She was in her 40s with dark hair pulled back from her face. Below, the streets of the main city bustled with activity. People went about their daily lives, but there was new energy in their movements. The news that they weren't alone in the galaxy had changed everything. The door opened behind her and two men entered. Craig Johnson, the military commander, was tall with a shaved head and stern expression. Benjamin Harris, the science director, was shorter with glasses and an excited manner. The council ambassador has left, reported Craig. I still don't trust them. Olivia turned from the window. Did he learn anything he shouldn't have? No, Craig assured her. We only showed him what we agreed on. The defense systems and military bases remained hidden. Benjamin stepped forward. Olivia, this is our chance to reconnect with the galaxy, the scientific knowledge we could gain, or the enemies we could make, interrupted Craig. The Zalari have already shown their intentions. They attacked the Artemis without provocation. Olivia sighed. After centuries of isolation, humanity faced a difficult crossroads. What news from Captain Riley? The defiance continues to follow. The signal, said Benjamin. They believe it's coming from the direction of old Earth. Impossible, said Craig. Earth was destroyed. We all know the history. We know what we were told, corrected Olivia. Our ancestors fled because they were warned of destruction. But what if Earth wasn't destroyed? What if someone wanted humans gone from the galaxy? The question hung in the air between them. In another part of the galaxy, Admiral Kresh stood before a secret meeting of the Council Defense Force's highest officers. The room was secured against any listening devices. The humans have been found, he said simply. This changes everything. An older officer frowned. Why should we fear these humans? Their colonies are small compared to our empire. Kresh displayed images of human technology. Their technology is different from ours, but advanced in ways we don't understand. They use spatial distortion fields we can barely detect. Their medical science allows them to heal from injuries that would kill us. But they've shown no aggression, argued another officer. Not yet, said Kresh. But consider this. They survived when their homeworld was supposedly destroyed. They built colonies and thrived in secret for centuries. What does that tell you about their resilience? The officers murmured among themselves. Meanwhile, on the Zalari throne world, Emperor Draz listened as Commander Zeth completed his report. 3. Ships disabled by one small vessel? The Emperor growled, his skin darkening with anger. Zeth bowed his head. The human ship had technology we couldn't detect, Your Majesty. They used our own energy net against us. Humans, spat the Emperor. For centuries they were just stories to frighten children. Now they reappear and humiliate our forces in their first encounter. The Emperor stood and walked to a large war table showing a map of the galaxy. Assemble the fleet, he ordered. Every ship we have. If these humans think they can challenge the Zalari Empire, they will learn their mistake. Emperor, said one of his advisors carefully, the Council has established diplomatic contact with the humans. Attacking them would violate Council law. The Council is weak, replied the Emperor. They fear these myths come to life. I do not. He pointed to the map. Find their colonies. We will show the galaxy what happens to those who defy us. Back. On New Hope, Olivia called an emergency meeting of the colony leaders. Representatives from all 12 human colonies gathered in the central chamber. The Zalari are mobilizing their fleet, she announced. Our intelligence suggests they plan to attack. Worried voices filled the room. A colony leader stood up. We should evacuate, hide deeper in unexplored space. No, said Craig firmly. We've been running and hiding for centuries. It's time we defended what's ours. But our military is small, said another leader. We focused on survival, not war. Benjamin stepped forward. There's something else. The signal the Defiance has been tracking. They've confirmed it's coming from the coordinates where Earth should be. The room fell silent. What does this mean? Asked Olivia. It means, said Benjamin, his voice filled with emotion, that Earth may still exist, and if it does, it might be our only hope against what's coming. Olivia looked around at the faces of her fellow humans, seeing both fear and determination. Then we have a choice to make, she said. Do we run and hide again, or do we find Earth and reclaim our heritage? Colony leaders looked at each other, then, one by one, they stood. To Earth, they said together. To home. The human ship Artemis moved silently through space. After the encounter with the Zalari, Samantha Wright and Daniel Peterson had continued their mission to find the source of the mysterious signal. Now they approached a strange area of space, where stars seemed to bend and twist. "Are you sure this is the right direction?" Daniel asked, looking at the distorted space ahead of them. Samantha checked the navigation screen. "The signal is definitely coming from in there, and according to the old star charts, this should be where Earth's solar system was located." Daniel frowned. "But there's nothing there. Just twisted space." "Maybe that's the point," Samantha said quietly. "Maybe Earth is hidden." They guided the Artemis closer to the distortion field. Suddenly, alarms blared as the ship shook violently. "Something's pulling us in," shouted the pilot. Samantha grabbed onto a rail to steady herself. "Don't fight it. If this is some kind of defense system, resistance might be seen as hostile." The Artemis was dragged into the distortion. For several minutes, the crew felt strange sensations as space bent around them. Then, abruptly, everything cleared. "Oh my," whispered Samantha. Before them was a blue and green planet, exactly matching the descriptions of Earth in their historical records, and in orbit around it were massive space stations and defense platforms unlike anything they had ever seen. A voice came through their communication system. It spoke in perfect, unaccented human language. "Greeting, children of Earth. We have been waiting for your return." Back on New Hope, Olivia Martinez was overseeing the preparation of the human fleet. Every ship they could spare was being armed and readied. The Zalari threat was growing by the day. Leader Martinez called a communications officer. "Urgent message from the Artemis." Olivia hurried to the communications center. Samantha's face appeared on the screen, her expression a mixture of shock and joy. "We found it," Samantha said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We found Earth. And Olivia, it's alive, it was never destroyed." Olivia steadied herself against a console. "How is this possible?" "We're meeting with them now," Samantha replied. "They call themselves the Preservers. They're an ancient race who decided to protect Earth and humanity." The screen changed to show a tall, slender being with pale, almost translucent skin. It had large eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. "Greetings, leader of New Hope," the being said. "I am Guardian Elo of the Preservers. We have much to discuss." Olivia struggled to find words. "You protected Earth? Why?" "Humanity has great potential," said Elo, "but also great capacity for destruction. Centuries ago, we saw that humanity was not ready for its role in the galactic community. Some races feared you. Others wished to exploit you. We decided to intervene. You made our ancestors believe Earth was going to be destroyed," Olivia said, understanding dawning on her face. Elo nodded. "We sent the warning. We guided your colony ships to safe sectors. We hid Earth behind a spatial fold and waited. We have watched over both Earth and your colonies since then." "Why reveal yourselves now?" asked Craig Johnson, who had joined Olivia. "Because you are needed," replied Elo. "The balance of power in the galaxy is shifting. The Zalari Empire grows too bold, and you have been discovered. It is time for humanity to return to its rightful place." On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain George Riley received the news with amazement. "Set course for Earth's coordinates," he ordered, "and send word to all colony worlds. It's time to go home." The human fleet assembled near the edge of their territory. 47 ships of various sizes prepared for the journey, but scouts brought troubling news. "The Zalari fleet has been spotted," reported Craig. "Over 500 warships heading straight for us. They'll intercept us before we reach Earth's coordinates." Olivia called an emergency meeting with Elo, whose image was transmitted from Earth. "The Zalari are coming with a massive fleet," she explained. "We're outnumbered 10-1. "Can you reveal Earth now?" asked Benjamin. "Show your defenses?" Hello looked troubled. "The spatial fold is complex. Revealing Earth would take time, and our defenses, while powerful, have never been tested in actual combat. So we fight or we run," said Craig grimly. "We fight," Olivia decided. "We've run before, not again." The human fleet moved into defensive formation. Every ship was prepared for battle, though few had seen actual combat. Aboard the flagship New Dawn, Olivia addressed the fleet. Today we fight not just for our colonies but for Earth itself. Our home still exists, protected and waiting for us. The Zilari think we are myths, legends to frighten children. Let's show them that sometimes legends are real. The Zilari fleet appeared at the edge of sensor range, hundreds of purple warships approaching in attack formation. On the Zilari command ship, Emperor Draz watched with satisfaction. "The human fleet is pathetic," he said. "This will be over quickly." The first shots were fired. Zilari warships launched energy torpedoes at the human fleet. The smaller human vessels dodged with surprising agility, while the larger ships absorbed the hits with their shields. The human ships returned fire. Their weapons were fewer but precisely targeted. Several Zilari ships lost engines or weapon systems. "They're targeting systems, not trying to destroy us," reported a Zilari officer with surprise. "Foolish mercy," sneered the Emperor. "Press the attack. Overwhelm them with numbers." The battle intensified. Despite their skill and technology, the human fleet began to falter under the sheer numbers of the Zilari ships. Shields failed. Hulls were breached. Aboard the New Dawn, Olivia received damage reports from across the fleet. "We can't hold much longer," she admitted. Suddenly, the ship's sensors went wild. "Massive spatial distortion detected," called out the science officer. Space itself seemed to fold open directly behind the human fleet. And there, revealed in all its glory, was Earth. The blue-green planet shone like a jewel against the blackness of space. But more importantly, surrounding Earth was a defense network that had been upgrading itself for centuries. Thousands of automated defense platforms activated, their weapons locking onto the Zilari fleet. From Earth's surface, massive energy cannons aimed skyward. A transmission came through to all ships, human and Zilari alike. Guardian Elo's voice was calm but firm. "The children of Earth have returned home. You will cease your attack immediately." Emperor Draz stared at the view screen in shock. "What is this trickery? Earth was supposed to be destroyed." "No trickery, Emperor," replied Elo. "Just a myth becoming reality." The Earth's defense systems fired warning shots, cutting through space with precision that left no doubt of their power. Several shots passed within meters of the Zilari command ship, demonstrating their accuracy. The Emperor looked at his fleet, then at the ancient defense network now targeting his ships. His skin paled to a light purple. "Pull back," he ordered, quietly. "Pull back, all ships." The human fleet watched in amazement as the mighty Zilari armada turned and retreated. "We did it," whispered Olivia. "We're home." The remaining Zilari ships limped away from Earth, their once proud formation now scattered and broken. On the bridge of the command ship, Emperor Draz sat in silence, his skin a pale shade of defeat. "Your Majesty," said his advisor carefully, "we should destroy what's left of the human fleet while we still outnumber them." Emperor Draz looked up slowly. "Did you not see what I saw? Those defense systems could have destroyed us all. They fired warning shots only." He stood up, looking at the view screen where Earth was still visible. The humans showed mercy. Again. Back near Earth, the human fleet regrouped. Several ships were damaged and there had been losses, but the victory was undeniable. For the first time in centuries, humans were in Earth's orbit. On the New Dawn, Olivia gazed at the planet below. Earth looked just like the pictures in their history books. Blue oceans, green and brown land masses, white clouds swirling in the atmosphere. "It's more beautiful than I imagined," she said softly. Guardian Elo stood beside her, his tall form dwarfing the human leader. "It has been preserved exactly as it was when your ancestors left. The animals, the plants, even the cities, all waiting for humanity's return." Olivia turned to face him. "Why did you do this? Why protect us?" "Because your species is unique," replied Elo. "In all our travels across the galaxy, we have never encountered another race with your particular combination of traits. Your adaptability, your compassion, and your determination. Even today, you disabled enemy ships rather than destroying them. The ship's communicator beeped. "Leader Martinez," said the officer. "The Zalari Emperor is requesting to speak with you." Olivia exchanged glances with Craig and Benjamin, then nodded. "Put him through." Emperor Draz appeared on the screen. His usual arrogance was gone, replaced by a cautious respect. "Leader Martinez, I wish to discuss terms." "Terms?" asked Olivia. "Of surrender," replied the Emperor. "My fleet is too damaged to continue fighting. I request safe passage back to Zalari space." Olivia considered for a moment. "You attacked us without provocation. You plan to destroy our colonies. Why should we grant you safe passage?" "Because it's what humans do," said Elo quietly beside her. "It's why we believed in your species." Olivia nodded slowly. "Emperor Draz, your fleet may return to Zalari space unharmed. But know this, Earth has returned to the galaxy. Humanity has returned. Any further aggression will be met with the full defense capability you witnessed today." The Emperor bowed his head. "Understood. And thank you." After the communication ended, Olivia turned to her advisors. "Prepare a landing party. It's time we set foot on Earth." Hours later, Olivia led the first group of humans to walk on Earth's soil in centuries. They landed in a meadow near what had once been a great city. The air was fresh and clean. Birds sang in nearby trees. It was as if the planet had been perfectly preserved in time. "How is this possible?" asked Benjamin, kneeling to touch the grass. "The cities should have crumbled. Nature should have reclaimed everything. We kept Earth in a type of stasis," explained Elo, who had joined them. "Time passed more slowly here. We maintained the balance of the ecosystems. We repaired damage to the human structures. We wanted your home to be waiting when you returned." The humans walked in wonder through fields and forests, eventually reaching the outskirts of a city. The buildings stood tall and strong, their windows reflecting the sunlight. Streets were clean and clear, as if people had just left yesterday. "Our ancestors believed Earth was doomed," said Olivia. "They left everything behind. All this time it was waiting for us." In the following days, more ships arrived from the human colonies. People landed on every continent, rediscovering the planet. Of their origin, it was a time of joy and wonder, but also of important decisions. Samantha Wright was tasked with establishing diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. In a historic meeting, she addressed the assembled representatives of all known spacefaring species. "For centuries, humans were thought to be myths," she told them. "Stories told to frighten children. Today, we stand before you as real beings, with a real homeworld and a real place in this galaxy." Ambassador Zoc spoke in support of humanity. "I have seen their worlds. I have witnessed their technology and their compassion. The Council would benefit from human membership." There were objections, particularly from species who feared the legendary warriors of Earth. But in the end, the vote passed. Humanity was granted membership in the Galactic Council. Daniel Peterson organized a defense network for human space. Working with the preservers, they established monitoring stations and response protocols. Never again would humanity be vulnerable. "We don't seek war," he explained to military leaders from other species. "But we will defend ourselves if attacked. The galaxy is big enough for all of us to live in peace." 1 year after the return to Earth, Dr. Eliza Morgan presented her findings to a packed auditorium at the newly reopened Earth University. Scientists and historians from across the galaxy had come to hear about human history. "The journey of humanity is a story of survival against all odds," she said. "From our early days on Earth to our time among the stars, we have faced countless challenges. Each time we adapted and overcame." In the back of the room, Commander Alan Frost watched with pride. He had doubted the existence of Earth once. Now, he was helping to rebuild it. In a classroom on the Zalari homeworld, a young student raised his hand during a history lesson. "Teacher," he asked, "are humans really as strong as the stories say?" The teacher, who had fought in the battle near Earth, smiled slightly. "Humans are not physically stronger than us. They don't have more advanced weapons, but they have something rare in this galaxy: the ability to be fierce warriors when threatened and merciful when victorious. The student looked thoughtful. Then they're not monsters like in the old tales? No, said the teacher. They are something much more interesting. They are humans. On Earth, as the sun set over a restored city, Olivia Martinez stood with Guardian Elo on a hilltop. Below them, humans moved about, rebuilding and expanding. Ships from the Galactic Council arrived and departed from the new spaceport. What will the preservers do now? Asked Olivia. Now that we've returned? Elo looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. Our task is complete. We will return to our explorations. Perhaps we will find other species in need of guidance, but we will always remember humanity as one of our greatest successes. We won't forget what you did for us, said Olivia. Live well, replied Elo. Make Earth proud. Show the galaxy that the legends were true, but incomplete. Humans are not just warriors to be feared, but allies to be valued. As night fell completely, the stars shone brightly above Earth. Once again, humanity looked up at them not with fear or longing, but with hope and purpose. The myth had become reality. Humanity had come home.